What's up, everybody? It's your boy Dev, War Room Sports. We'd like to welcome you guys to episode number 185 of our podcast, The War Room. It's our Super Bowl 48 spectacular, where we talk about everything surrounding the Super Bowl. We even took it to the NBA a little bit, talked about Melo's 62-point game, the streak that Kevin Durant is on, the way Seahawks fans are tripping right now, and a whole lot more. So just sit back, relax, just listen to the podcast for a little while. Welcome to the War Room.
Blog Talk Radio.
Let's get it. Welcome to the War Room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to get the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Roll with the topic, sort of like the rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th, so the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.
Greetings, sports fans. Welcome back to that room. You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you, of course, by War Room Sports. I'm Devin McMillan, and I'm joined by my partners, the Blueprint, Jimmy Williams. In a minute, we'll be joined by the HBC, B. Austin. The Super Bowl is days away, and our in-depth coverage continues now. But before we dive headfirst into the big game, we have more, stuff for you from around the world of sports, so make sure you join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, or join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports so you can join in the conversations. You can also call us directly when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech hotline. That's about 30 minutes at 323-410-0012. But we especially want to hear from you guys during the second hour when we talk Super Bowl. We want to get everybody's opinion on the big game. What stories are you following, who you pulling for, as a team and as a single player, all kinds of stuff. So make sure you call in 323-410-0012 in that second hour when we start talking about the Super Bowl. But listen, during the week, make sure you take some time to hear some more great sports talk from some of our partners. You can check out Roy and Chris on the Broad Street line every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Blog Talk Radio. And check out your boy Brandon Pemberton of Sports Track Radio every Thursday afternoon from noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Time, also on Blog Talk Radio. And in addition, don't forget to catch us in syndication 3 times on Fridays on newviberadio.com, 7 a.m., 1 p.m., and 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Sundays and Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on fatsradio.com. 3 more days into the big one, gentlemen. Jimmy, as a Broncos fan, what's up, man? You nervous? What's going on?
Yo, I am as happy as R. Kelly at a Girl Scout cookie invention. I'm so fired up right now, I'm out of control, but I can't. Bart Scott voice, I can't wait, man.
Can't wait. Yeah, and I keep stressing this. The annual thing we've been doing for our Super Bowl parties. It doesn't get any better than that unless you're at the game, probably in a warm weather city or a dome. I don't think the people in the Giant Stadium are going to be having more fun than us on Sunday night.
Oh, so. No, not at all. We rent out Thug's Mansion, and we have a huge Super Bowl party, yo.
No doubt.
It's going to be fun, man.
Where nobody can find us, and we can't get in trouble for all the tomfoolery that goes on at a War Room Sports Super Bowl party. All right, so the Super Bowl has been the thing on the agenda for the whole week. We've been covering it, here on our our webcast on WarRoomSportsTV.com, everywhere. So why don't you let everybody else know what else has been going on this week while they were on the grind?
Absolutely. And for those who may be listening for the first time, shame on you. But if you don't know, While You Were on the Grind is brought to you by DirecTV. If you'd like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, including the NFL Sunday Ticket, go to our website, warroomsports.com. Click on the DirecTV logo and order a better TV experience at a discounted War Room Sports sign-up rate. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to have DirecTV.
Yeah.
Now, this is usually where we give out most of our JoJo awards for the people who listen for the first time. Again, shame on you.
Yes.
But we have our
Better cue
JoJo
that
awards,
up.
and you'll soon know what a JoJo award is. Shout out to JoJo, shout out to KC. You know, crack is whack. But at any rate, let's just get right into the topics, good brother. Let's get right into the topics, good brother. Former Lions running back Jahvid Best is suing not only the NFL, he's suing Riddell and Easton Bell Sports. Yeah, I guess they're both the makers of helmets, right? Like, what is Easton Bell Sports?
Riddell
I know he's suing. I know Riddell
I have no
makes
idea
the helmets,
what the hell
right?
Easton Bell Sports are. Maybe
Yeah, I was
that's
trying to figure out what Easton Bell Sports
agents.
do, but I don't know. But I know Riddell does like helmets and equipment. But not only is he suing the league, he's suing the equipment manufacturer and also Easton Bell Sports. We don't know what they do, but they're named in a lawsuit as well over concussion. So he's suffering, as a lot of players are. But he just, not only went after the league like a lot of players do, he's adding everybody on. He's like, yo, this is bigger than Nino Brown. So what do you think about Jahvid Best?
Yo, I was thinking
on
about that exact quote. I was just watching that before the show. So this is bigger than Nino Brown.
He's suing all the I'm sorry, go ahead, though.
Well, first of all, Easton Bell Sports, I just looked them up. Riddell is one of their brands. They make
that's the parent company. Got you.
Performance equipment and all that kind of stuff for different sports, and Riddell is one of their companies. So you're right.
Got you. So it's the parent. So basically, he's suing the league as well as the company that manufactures the equipment, basically.
Right. Over concussions.
What do you think
now,
about
this is it's one of those things to me. It's kind of strange because the guy is only like 24, 25 years old. He was in training camp this season for the Detroit Lions, so it doesn't seem like to me that they ruled his career over due to these concussions. It kind of seems like to me he's feeling like he probably won't get a spot anymore, so now he wants to sue people. But I look at this as like a Pat White situation because remember, right before he got picked up by the Redskins prior to the season, he was just about to he was joining a lawsuit against the NFL as well. As soon as he got picked up by a team, he dropped it. So will this be the same type of thing? Like, I'm suing you guys because I'm not making any money right now, but if anybody wants to call and, put me on a team, then I'll forget about all of this. I'm thinking a lot of guys are starting to cry wolf now because they think, these guys sued the NFL and they got paid for it. Maybe I can do the same thing.
Yeah, and I don't know anything about his situation particularly, but, you can't think that, but man, I just wonder like when it's going to stop at some point because I do feel sorry for these players, but now with all the information that's out there, with all the lawsuits, anyone that continues to play football from this point on and suffers those kind of injuries, at some point it has to be listened. The education is there. The education wasn't always there, so a lot of the older players, I definitely feel bad for him, and I would include him in that as well because I say over the last couple of years we have more data and more knowledge about what playing the sport does than we probably did over the last 30 years. And part of the couple of lawsuits saying that the NFL was hiding information as well. So
that's what I'm saying. The information is out there now might be forced. The NFL's hand might be forced, but bottom line is it's out there. So it is kind of hard at this point to continue with the lawsuits, and after the big one, it's kind of difficult for players to keep doing it. And like I said, since he's 25 years old, I just have that feeling that if somebody came calling, then he'd be right back out there. So how can you, on one hand, sue the NFL for concussions, and then as soon as somebody calls, and this is just speculation, you'll be ready to go right back out there and risk your health again. So I hope that doesn't
I guess
happen.
time will tell.
He proved me right.
Time will tell whether or not this is what's going on with him, So I'm gonna hold off all accusations and JoJo award nominations until I find out that's what he's doing, But it does look kind of crazy, man. So hopefully
if he signs with a team,
okay,
he's getting the JoJo for sure. If he end up signing with a team,
absolutely. If he signs with a team, you get me JoJo of the week, JoJo of the month. You know what I'm saying? But Jahvid Best, it's crazy. I remember Jahvid Best is a college player. He was a tough running back. But anyway,
he had a crazy concussion in college. That might have been the worst one he's ever had. So that's the question that I've seen a lot of people. Exactly, a lot of people were saying, well, is he going to sue the NCAA too? Because he had a mean concussion in school. So I don't know, man. Jahvid tripping. He desperate.
Yeah, Javit, man, you know. Yo, I don't know what to say to you, Javit, yo, but we'll see what happens, man. Let's hold our nominations until we see that Javit does the wrong thing, or what we consider the wrong. Next story, Josh Brent. Josh Brent gets 6 months in prison, as well as 10 years of walk-off, 10 years of probation for intoxication manslaughter of his best friend Jerry Brown Jr. Now, this story is very sad because this was his best friend, and he was inebriated.
Yeah.
It's a terrible situation, man.
Actually, I meant to change that when we were talking about it, in our pre-show meeting, whatever. He actually avoided prison time. He's just going to do 180 days in jail. And, a lot of people out there might be like, what's the difference? But, you and I know the difference between jail and prison, two different places. But
okay, so he avoided it. So what did he do? What did he actually get?
I mean, he's going to do 180 days, but he's not going to be in, like, some, federal max prison.
No. Okay, so he's going to do 180 days total. Or is that
right, he's going to do 180 days,
earliest,
and then he's got to do probation for the next 10 years. So I still think, it was kind of a slap on the wrist. I'm wondering if this is a quote-unquote regular citizen, not a high-profile NFL player, a high-profile athlete or whatever, would it be the same type of sentence? Like, if I did this, I'd probably be going to jail for more than 180 days. But, hey,
it's one of those things that it's sad, man. People still don't take, like, drinking and driving and driving under the influence. They don't take these things serious, yo. They still don't take it serious.
Because this is not his first
sad
offense.
thing,
I mean, it's the first time somebody died, but he's had a DUI in the past. So, and the prosecution actually tried to use that against him when they were pressing the judge to actually give him real prison time. And I guess the judge, he didn't go for it. He kind of gave him a little scolding speech after he slapped him on the wrist with this sentence, and kind of told him, you're a disgrace to the city of Dallas, and he said some crazy stuff to him like that. How you going to tell that man he a disgrace? So we might as well let JoJo sing it to him if the judge already told him that he should be ashamed of himself.
He definitely should, man. Especially you keep... The way you carry yourself, man, you continually, man, and it costs your best friend his life. So now, not only do you have to do those 180 days and walk off 10 years, but it's like you have to live with the fact that you killed your best friend. I mean, so he's suffering that way as well. I mean, that's just terrible story, man. Terrible story. All right, man. Well, let's continue these crazy stories. Let's talk about the Seahawks fan. Last name Mann, M-A-N-N, named their newborn daughter, Cindy. First off, why they spell Cindy that way? Oh, I'm sorry. No.
Cindy.
Sydney. It's pronounced Sydney.
It's still spelled.
But they spelled it. Here's how they spelled it.
Either way you pronounce it.
Cydnee, pronounced Sydney.
God, she's
Sydney
messed up
Lee.
for her life.
Sydney Lee, 12th man. So actually, one of her middle names is 12th. Yo,
too much, man. I'm gonna let B. Austin. What's up with your Seahawks people, man? Sydney Lee, 12th man, because their last name is Mann with two N's. Is that too much?
It's definitely too much. With the type of things that I've seen in the African American community in terms of names, I'm not gonna take a shot at this, man.
Are you kidding me? You must have.
You're not gonna take a shot at them. I got to take a shot.
They're just you try to say African Americans, they're worse.
Yeah, Sydney 12th. How is 12th
like
spelled? Is it 1-2-TH or is it TW?
Yes. It's 1-2-TH. Yo, I'm starting to think like all this stuff because it's a lot of this craziness in Seattle happened before the Super Bowl, but everything is being everything is just out on blast because of the Super Bowl. I'm starting to think, and I've been there before, and I thought it was a pretty nice city besides, all the rain, but I'm starting to think there is nothing else to do or nothing else worth anybody's time in Seattle but the Seattle Seahawks, because people are going crazy over the Seahawks. And you'll see further what we're talking about when Jimmy tells us about the next story, but you're going to
but
really
be Austin,
12
to your to
is one
what
of her
you said,
names,
though,
12?
listen, man, ratchetness knows no color. I saw a story the other day. A white family named
This is true.
They named.
Honey Boo Boo.
I saw a family the other day, a white family, who named their daughter Molly, and they thought it was funny, but she has to EE, and they said, because after Molly, anyway. But ratchetness knows no color, man. So they're out of control.
I totally agree with that.
And that's the thing,
1-2 TH.
Back in the days, probably like in the late 60s, early 70s, Molly was a name, but it, Molly. But I don't even think anybody would go there with the name anymore, just because, you could grow up loving that name, but after they name a drug after that, there's no way you can name your kid that. And these people actually name their kid that with the drug in mind.
That's what made it worse.
That's what I'm saying. They named it like that with the actual drug in mind, so that's even worse. People are, 12th though.
Yo, man, we gotta
middle name
we
is
gotta
12.
do better, yo.
Her middle name is 12.
And it's numbers though, like yo.
It's 1-2. It's 1-2.
I hope she changed her name to Ocho Cinco when she turned 18.
Yo, man, people don't realize they make the city. Yo, that kid has to live with that for the rest of their life, man. And
she should change it to 49er when she grow up. Her parents will probably try to kill her.
Ooh, that's tough. All right, y'all. Let me ask you about
49er man.
A Seattle Sea Chicken fan. They got the Super Bowl 48 tattoo on their arm saying Seattle Seahawks World Champions with the logo of the Super Bowl, what have you. Already they got the tattoo.
They actually claim dude did this prior to this. He said they did this prior to the season. Way overconfident.
Man, they're gonna be severely upset when they see Peyton Manning walking out of there with that trophy. They are gonna be severely upset.
I think.
But you know what? With tattoo removal being what it is, I guess I don't. I can't call it.
Nah, the tattoo removal, tattoos are expensive enough. They cost more to remove them, and a lot of these people don't really look like.
And it don't really work.
Got it all like that. But listen. I know what it is to be a diehard fan. You know what I'm saying? I know what it is to be a fanatic. But there are certain lines that I myself, in my diehardiest of days, would not have crossed. Like now, it's a little bit more in perspective for me. I got a family now. Some things just have to be more important in sports. But I never,
not really.
And there would have been a time where I would have thought about, had my team won a Super Bowl, I would have thought about throwing a logo somewhere. But it would have never gotten to a point where I was confident enough about my team that I did that before the game or before the season. I mean, you guys, we all from Philly, and y'all know I'm a Philly fan, so is that pessimism runs through the ranks in Philadelphia, so there's no damn way, this would happen. I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there who has, but that's just not something that you would expect in that town. But this is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely crazy, man. And it's like.
I think he's a nominee.
I was going to say, in our case, being Philadelphia Eagles fans, we never believe they're going to win until they have won, and since they haven't, I doubt that we're silly enough. But a lot of times, you know what it is, and I hate to take it here, but it's just a function of society, man, and the lack of paternal influences on a lot of these folks, man. They need heroes.
How you get there with the tattoo, though?
They need heroes. They need heroes, man. Because your sense of self and pride shouldn't allow you. It's kind of like you said to the boy, how you just going to hop on it?
Yeah, I don't hear the thing, though.
That?
I would get a tattoo of my squad's logo. I definitely would. I rep
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, though, this is kind of This is something different, man.
But it's
This is something
extreme.
definitely different.
It's the extreme that you're going through. Like, I can see
But
getting a tattoo
I
of the
think
logo.
Dev makes a point. There's something in the water in Seattle because outside of the love for their sea chickens, like, the Sounders, the love they get is definitely out of control. But it makes me think, like, why didn't they fight like this for the Supersonics?
Yo, they ain't care about basketball.
Or unless the culture of the city has changed since then, because it's been a while.
That's what I'm about to say,
there's a lot of
we
new
can't
money in
front.
Seattle as well.
The Supersonics have always been the best team in that city. Like, this is all new. The way they're acting about these Seahawks. Like,
I mean, well, you remember the 12th man's been around for a while, because I remember Sean Alexander, them going crazy with him. Since Paul Allen is on the team. Since Paul Allen is on the team. But I'm just saying, I don't remember that kind of fight. Now, I remember there was, like, small fractions of people fighting when they left Seattle. But I don't remember, like, the kind of the way they act about their teams now. I just don't remember it that way. Now, the culture of the city could have changed as well, because there's a lot of new money in Seattle with a lot of different tech companies making their home there. There's a lot of new money. So maybe the entire culture of the city has changed. But I'd be interested to see them get a basketball team, take it out of one of these other stupid markets, and put it in Seattle. That's a whole other story. If they're going to support the way they support
of a stupid market.
It's a lot of stupid teams, man. It's a lot of stupid teams. Like, Minnesota don't need no team, man. Yo, they should move the world champions over there to Seattle, man, because they don't even get no support from their fans, and they got
definitely.
back-to-back
Yo,
chips.
Seattle is a better market for basketball than Miami. I stand behind you 110% on that.
Yo, they won 2 chips, and they still can't sell out of the arena, yo. Could you imagine if the Sixers won 2 chips, how crazy the city would be?
Yo.
And how, it'd be a line for tickets for 5 years.
Yo, if the Sixers won a chip, my marriage would be in jeopardy from the way I acted.
Yo. Yo, extreme are we? I know we're not talking about this, yo, but to the city of Miami, yo, you don't support your basketball team, so for you should be ashamed of yourself. The way you carry yourself. That had nothing to do with what was going on while you were on the grind, but watching a lot of Heat games, yo, I just feel bad, but that's either here nor there. Anyway, gentlemen, those are the stories and things that have happened while you were on the grind this past week. It's time to give some birthday shout-outs, Dev. Who's having a birthday?
All right. Time for those birthday shout-outs. Like Jimmy said, birthdays, of course, are brought to you by Dr. Monique Roll of Alexandria Podiatry Associates. For the best and comprehensive treatment of injuries to the foot, ankle, and lower extremities, visit Dr. Monique Roll of APA, treating patients in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area and beyond. Visit alexandriapodiatry.org or call 703-379-0700. Again, that number is 703-379-0700. And make sure you tell them that War Room Sports sent you. You better do that.
It's my birthday.
I'm not going to like it if you don't. All right. First birthday shout-out goes to, I think this is somebody we're all a fan of, especially when we were coming up. His college team set the standard and kind of represented everything that we were back then, the Fab Five. Mr. Jalen Rose, the point guard, turns 41. So shout out to Jalen Rose. Doing a lot of
shout
big things now.
Shout out to Jalen for another reason, because I watch him on TV now, and he has gotten a lot better. Because when he first started on TV, I was complaining, like, is he ever going to make it, and why is he on TV? But he's worked on his craft and gotten even better at that.
I was complaining about the gear he wore. Like, the clothing was.
I mean, he's from Detroit, so.
Yo, he looked like a Detroit.
When you're from Detroit, you get like a little. You get graded on the curve, because that's what they do.
Yeah. And I don't know what his ranking is, B. Austin, in the hierarchy over at Grantland, but he's definitely like the second most visible person over there to Bill Simmons. So yeah, shout out to Jalen up in his profile.
I'm glad you brought that up too, Devin. And we don't usually give shout outs to other podcasts unless you on the War Room Sports Network. But I just want to say that his podcast is pretty quality, man. It's pretty good podcast.
Yeah, they have fun over there.
Remember when he first started at the show?
Yeah, we're sitting around with a baseball bat on his shoulder.
The ball, and He dribbles 2 times and he scored. I'm like, yo, they got to get bored on TV. But, hard work and dedication, like Floyd Mayweather say, man. So shout out to him for getting a lot better at his craft.
All right, so shout out to the younger of the NBA's Gasol brothers. Mark turns 29 this week. Shout out to Mark Gasol.
Yo, you know you're getting old when Mark Gasol is 29. I remember when he was in high school.
Yeah. Shout out to one of Donovan McNabb's most clutch receivers. Aeneas Williams turns 46 this week. A lot of people out there not gonna get the sarcasm. They're just gonna be like, "What the hell are these dudes talking about?" Aeneas Williams being a receiver. But think about it.
Aeneas Williams and Rondé Barber are 2 of Donovan's greatest targets. Man. He could always find them. Always.
So shout out to Aeneas for stopping my team's trip to the Super Bowl back in 2001 when the Eagles played the Rams in the NFC Chip game. That was the start of our misery. And shout out to one of the greatest receivers of all time that you don't really hear too much about. Andre Reed turns 50 this week.
Yes,
fellas, why don't we hear much about Andre Reed?
I mean, he was quiet when he played. He just is the guy that did his job, shut his mouth, and I guess he went away the same way.
Andre Reed could catch seven passes for 140 yards, and you wouldn't even know it.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Man, it is what it is type of thing.
I mean, because
I always thought he was underrated.
I was about to say, one could argue that you're saying Andre Reed was a meaningless stat stuffer and didn't impact the game well enough to be noticed. But then, on the other hand, somebody could just say he was just a silent assassin. Either way, I don't know.
All right, now, you're saying, which one are you saying?
I'm just throwing out the options,
mind.
man. I was about to say the same. I'm just throwing out the options. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, they did enough as a team, so, if you have a receiver that great, then I guess he did impact something. They went to 4 straight Super Bowls.
Didn't he play for the Eagles at one point?
Andre Reed?
Did he? Yeah, did he play one season?
When he got old?
Yeah, when he was damn near dead.
I don't remember. So that if he did, then that would be another example of Andre Reed being too quiet to make a difference. I'm checking for you right now.
Andre on his birthday.
No, it wasn't the Eagles. It was the Reds. It was Washington. He played.
No, we had Lofton.
He played. 2000 in
we had
Washington.
Lofton. I get those two confused. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we had Fryer, but Reed went to Washington for the 2000 season and played in 13 games but didn't start any. Had 10 receptions for 103 yards. That used to be a good game for Andre Reed. That was his whole season. Time to hang him up, homie. Time to hang him up, homie. Give it up. All right. Those are your birthday shout-outs for this week. We like to wish all of these gentlemen a happy birthday from everybody here at War Room Sports. Real quick, before we move on, everybody, make sure when you get some spare time and you get in front of a computer, check out warroomsports.com. While you're there, be sure to sign up for the War Report. That's our weekly newsletter. Comes out once a week. We don't flood your inbox with a bunch of garbage. Click on the Contact Us tab to send a message to us about our company, the show, or to inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities. For general inquiries, just shoot us an email, info@warroomsports.com. Now, while you're browsing the site, make sure you click on everything. Click on the memorabilia tab. Buy War Room Sports merchandise. Support your boys. Click on the blog tab to read our latest sports articles in the All's Fair in Sports and War blog. Then you can click the respective icons to like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, everywhere. Jimmy, would you say you got us on Christian Mingle, Farmers Only?
Yeah,
we
Farmers Only, yo.
Black
Hit up
Planet,
War Room Sports on Farmers
MySpace.
Only, yo.
Everywhere. The icons are on the website, so make sure you click on those icons, and you can follow us on all of those social media networks. You can subscribe to our iTunes podcast. Download our free War Room Sports mobile app. Now, that's important to download the mobile app in the Android Market or in the the Apple iStore. I don't know. I'm not an Apple
you
person.
can tell Dev's an Android guy by this the way he said it.
You know we're in there. So make sure you get that mobile app.
You know
can
I
do
was
everything
there,
I just mentioned all in one place, right there on your mobile phone or your tablet, iPad, whatever you got. All right. So right now, you could join the JW Philly Realty chat room during the show so you can rap to us, get your opinions heard on the show. That's blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. To enter the chat room, just sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want to do that, you can sign in through your Facebook and Twitter accounts, and while you're at it, click follow so you can get updates and reminders about the show. We might be doing some special episodes at special times like we are this Sunday. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, and the chat room during the show. To call in and speak with us, dial the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline, which is now open. The number is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. Now, I done spent all this time telling you guys about all of that. You have no excuse not to know. So like I asked before, please support your boys and
we will
check out the
find
website.
you if
browse
you don't
for a
do
while.
as we say.
All right,
And spread the
and
word
here's
for
the
us.
bottom line.
Please spread the word for us. Each one teach one.
We're going to jump into some hot topics, but before we do, I just got to say, listen, man, the easiest way, because everybody has a smartphone, download our mobile app, because what you don't realize is we're more than just a talk show. It's an entire experience, and you can get it all right from the mobile app.
Conglomerate.
And besides, it doesn't take up that much space on your phone anyway. And also, put it on your home screen so your friend can say, yo, what's that? And you'll be like, yo, it's the War Room Sports Experience. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Hot topics are brought to you by Audible. Is your schedule too hectic to read as much as you want? Try Audio Books and kick back and let someone else do the reading for you. All you have to do is visit Audible and sign up for your free trial. That's audibletrial.com/warroomsports. You guys know that I'm a huge fan of audiobooks. Reading is fundamental, and you can get all kinds of selections. And if you want to talk sports, there are a lot of great sports books out there. The next one I'm getting ready to dig into, I just finished the Dr. J book. I read the Shaq book, the Magic book, the Bird book, but I'm about to read the book, the Wilt Chamberlain book. That's the next book on my list. So look out for that book review probably sometime next month, depending upon how long the book is.
What's that called? Sex, money, and sex. No basketball.
That's the next one of my. Cause I have this thing now where every month I'm going to try to read a sports biography because it makes you look at the game, different games, in a lot of ways. But I figure let's go with Wilt this time. See what's going on with Wilt. But anyway, you can go get the Wilt Chamberlain book for free because if you go to audibletrial.com/warroomsports, you do get a free book. So if you don't want to keep the service, don't keep it. But why not go get a free audio book? Anyway, gentlemen. Some hot topics. This story we talked about so much that I'm tired of talking about it, but new news is out. Richie Incognito. His lawyer says that Martin's texts were just as vulgar as the ones that were released by Richie. We saw Richie's text. We haven't seen Martin's text, but how can you say that and not show us what you're talking about, though, good brother?
The thing is, what I've read, of course, like Jimmy said, the Incognito's lawyer is kind of shooting back right now, and he's not making light of, well, he's not actually making public all of the text that he may be talking about, but he did give an example when he was talking about it because, the whole point of it is he was trying to say that, this was banter amongst friends. This was just friends razzing each other. And the way the story was reported and the way everything came out, it just made Richie Incognito look like this bully and this racist, really vulgar and stuff like that. But they said that Martin sent him a text that said, all right, the dude's name is Schlamel, that's the lawyer. He said it says he alleges that Martin sent text to Incognito which, quote unquote, included threats to send someone over to Richie Incognito's home with a tranquilizer gun and sandpaper condoms to homosexually rape him, and another one said he would kill Richie's whole family. So like,
yo,
no, like seriously, that sounds like to the lay ear, that sounds really, really vulgar, but it does sound like something between two friends who feel that they can speak to each other like that.
Yeah, man.
But,
I mean, and that's the thing about this whole situation is like, I understand what they're doing, but yo, if they read the messages we send between each other, like they would think that we're like. Yo, we be going to put like they're the most misogynistic, racist.
No, one of y'all.
But I'm saying we be joking, but at the end of the day,
Jim, if our text messages got published, one of y'all be going to jail for bullying, for
everything,
for everything, for everything.
That's my point. That's my point, though, fam.
Jimmy is dry snitching because I've been doing over 20 years. I'm already going to talk to it.
But I'm saying, though, but I can only imagine, like, you know, when you have friends that talk to each other, man, you know, everything, you know how it is, man. Like, so my whole thing is, this is out of control, man. They're text messages. I mean, you know.
This has been my question the whole time, Jimmy, though. It's like, is he being sincere? Like, is he telling the truth about, you know, how he felt and what this really was?
No.
Is he telling the truth? And maybe, now this is just speculation, maybe it could have been a situation where Jonathan Martin just reciprocated this kind of talk because he was trying to fit in while the whole time he may have been uncomfortable with it. See, I'm not saying if that's the case, then it's right, because you're still throwing these guys under the bus. You could be a man and say, I don't get down like that. Don't talk to me like that.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to, if that's the case, you don't have to join in. And then later on, when you come to your breaking point, you had this man out in the media looking like a straight-up monster, you know, and you running away from your team. So that's just one.
That's even worse.
Just a little speculation. Like, yeah, no,
that's even worse. No, that's a great.
That probably will be worse.
That's a great point. That's a great point, because for me, either way, it's hashtag free Richie Incognito, because on one hand, Jonathan Martin is perpetuating false pretense, if it's what you just said it is. On the other hand, he's just like, I think this dude is lying. I don't care. I think he's lying, man.
You think he's just tired of playing football, but he wants some kind of settlement?
Yo,
at the end of the
he got
day,
in the league. He found out that this is one of those dudes that had all the talent in the world, but he had no real desire, and he could get away.
He was pretty much struggling. He was struggling on the field, you know, before.
Yeah, no. He got there because mentally he never wanted to really play football. He's 6'3", 370 for no reason. So we got in the league, and I'm like, he's in the deep water, and it's like, oh man, oh no, this is his out. He's going to put a lawsuit out there. They're going to get $5 million off of this, and that's his come up. I mean, this is fraudulent, man. This is fraudulent.
You know what the more telling thing is, because we know how the team they've kind of rallied around Incognito, not officially, but you know, some of their comments, you can tell who they rather have back in the locker room as opposed to who they won't welcome back in the locker room. Well, you know that when we reported it months ago and we talked about the trip to Vegas that the offensive linemen go on, the one where he claimed he got extorted for like $15,000 because he didn't go.
Mm-hmm.
They took that trip again, and neither one of those guys are actually on the team right now, but Richie Incognito went on the trip. I don't even think Jonathan Martin would have been welcome on the trip. So that tells you a whole lot about the situation. So at this point, whether he's telling, I don't know. I do think Richie Incognito is kind of getting a bum rap in this whole thing, especially if they have proof that both of these guys spoke to each other that way, as friends. So, and this has nothing to do with this situation whatsoever. I was just watching Ray Lewis on my monitor, and I noticed his waves go the wrong way. Why they do that?
Yo, they not even real. Yo. He bought them down.
Yo, did y'all notice that? Yo, his waves go from like front to back instead of side to side.
Front, back, and side to side.
Yo, it's funny because we love Ray, for what he brought to the game of football, the way he played the game of football. But quiet as kept, he's a calm ball,
but now that he's done, it's time for him to go away. I ain't gonna even lie, y'all know there's no Ray fan
he got
to me.
Andre Reed.
But it's time for him to go away, man.
It was kind of time when he was still there.
It was kind of time when they won the bowl, yeah.
Every time he got interviewed, he was preaching. It was funny at first, but then, it kind of got kind of old. Like, he preaches every time they ask him a question. Like, stop preaching.
Like, how about that one tackle? Oh, no weapon. Like, he was out of control. he was out of control a little while ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, man.
Nobody gave us a shot. Nobody. But you still got to play the game, guys. We knew that. We knew that. And we came in here, and before we walked out of halftime, I just grabbed everybody's hands and we just said, no weapon. As a team,
hold up, dog.
No weapon. Man can't control what God has already blessed and destined, man.
What?
This is awesome, man. I told them that we had been here before. You know, we ran this race before in Pittsburgh, and we watched that. We watched that same drive. And for us to go down there and do it, we said that when we came out here, we was going to claim victory. We claim victory. Victory is ours. It's ours, man.
Go away.
Amen.
Yo,
amen.
guys, I just want to
let
say
the church
that.
say amen, man.
Man, you're right. You're right. I'm being disrespectful to the Lord of the Lord.
Let the church say amen, man. Yo, but first of all, he said at the halftime, I grabbed everybody's hand. Yo, it's like 50 other dudes.
How you do that?
Took the time. Like, y'all got to get back on the field. You grabbed 50 other hands? Like, yeah, come on, Ray. You ain't grab everybody's hand.
You got everybody's hand. You got 52 men hands. No weapon.
And that dude named
Anyway.
He called him
no weapon style. Yeah,
he didn't even put an L on it. He said
no weapon style. He called him SAI. No weapon style.
Yo, that's my dude, Ray, man. Ray was preaching on the head.
Time to go away. What we called him last year? TD Ray.
It's time for Ray to go. And that's my homie, man. That's my, he did a lot for the game, a lot for us as fans watching, but it was time to go, man. And I knew it was time to go, but I'm a loyal dude. So when y'all were clowning, I was just riding with it, but I knew it was time for Ray to go, man.
Shout out to Patrick Willis. But yo, the thing is, though, he's the top 5
Ray
player of all time,
get up there and say, now please turn to chapter 6, verse 7 in Isaiah, the book of, and get rolling.
What I'm saying is this. Nobody is above slander, yo. We will slander Ray Lewis as much as we appreciate when he brought the football. Anyway, man. Let's talk about
there is some folks that's above slander. Now, B-Dawk is above slander.
I slandered B-Dawk.
I don't think anybody's above slander in the war room,
and I'm a B-Dawk Stanley. I've said some things about B-Dawk.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's one athlete.
Yeah.
I don't think there's one athlete that we haven't slandered, like, and that includes all the greats, yo. Whether it be Wilt, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson. We slander everybody, yo.
Oh,
there's nobody, yo. Our favorite athlete. If you talk about one athlete that all 5 of the War Room generals have in common, that we all
between
love.
Between the 5 of us, you're probably right.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. I think there's only one athlete. When I think about all athletes that have ever played any sport, there's probably one athlete that all 5 of us, it's a consensus that we all love. And that's probably Mike Tyson. But the thing is, how can you not slander Mike? Mike slanders himself.
Mike slanders himself. Yeah, exactly.
No. I just act like it ain't happening. When it's something that's so bad, when Mike does something that's completely outlandish, I just act like it didn't happen and keep on moving.
Yo, B. Austin, you brought up the best point that Mike Tyson gets away with stuff that we would never let anybody else get away with, yo.
Yo. Mike Tyson.
Mike, were you really sick this week? What was the problem?
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that? Your
back is broken.
What, a vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
Nobody can get away with that, man. But Mike, that's
nobody,
an excuse.
Man.
Nobody gonna get away with that, but Mike. But with Mike, we just laugh it off
and talk about fornicating with you and letting you suck my because if I was eloquent with you, you would still look at me as a scumbag.
That's what I'm saying. Like, some of the stuff. Some of the stuff he says though, like what about this?
I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
No, that's not the worst, yo.
That's what makes the
worst one we don't even have. He got up on stage and said, I will make love to you until you love me.
Until you love me.
And he was talking to a dude.
Me. And then called him
another grown man.
But
we act like that ain't happening because we all Mike fans.
Yo, I just act like I just act like it was all right, cool. I mean,
yeah. Anybody else be Austin would have got the pause police for that. But Mike, we just let it slide.
no doubt.
We just laugh at it.
We just act like
Yeah,
Mike.
because
Yo, you saw the picture.
Everybody in the room was afraid when he was doing it. So.
Yo, the picture Mike took the other day where he just grabbed the ball arm, Joel Santana.
yo,
He just grabbed him.
everyone in the picture act like that wasn't happening.
Because it's Mike.
They're afraid. Yeah.
Yo, everyone.
Mike Mike got the
yo,
whole world afraid.
wait,
And the funny thing is,
the boy Joel's was like, it's cool. I don't need my wrist. Of course he can hold it. I don't need it. What's wrong with y'all?
All right.
After Mike, they got his boot stretched a million times. Anyway, man, let's move on, man. Let's talk about some hoops real quick because we have to spend from 7 o'clock on. We're going to break down the big game coming up. But before we get to that, let's talk about basketball for a second.
What big game?
And first thing is Players of the Week, Dev. Who are the players of the week in the National Basketball Association?
Players of the week this week: Paul Millsap of the Atlanta Hawks and the usual Kevin Durant of the Oklahoma City Thunder. All right, Millsap led the Hawks to a 3-1 week. He averaged 21.3 points, 51% shooting from the field, 7.3 rebounds, 3.8 assists, 2.5 steals, and 2 blocks. Millsap was stat stuffing this particular week, so I see why he actually won it. Kevin Durant, who's still on the 30-plus point streak that he's on, he led Oklahoma City. They had a 4-0 week, but he only played in 3 of the games. He missed the win against the Celtics. They didn't really need him. He just summoned his teammates to play like he was playing. But he averaged 38 points per game, 8.7 rebounds, 6.3 assists. And, of course, he had the 32-point, 14 rebound, 10 assist triple-double against my lowly Philadelphia 76ers. So shout out to Paul Millsap and Kevin on fire, Durantula, the new nickname they got for him, the Slim Reaper, KD, whatever you want to call him. He's killing the league right now. And, he has a little...
MVP.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, man. Like
he made his case for it in the game in Miami the other night. Yeah.
What he's doing right now is just utterly ridiculous. We talked about it, a lot, whether it was on Court Vision or on our podcast last week. Like he's just putting up ABA numbers. Nobody can stop him. It doesn't matter who you put in front of him. Man, he's playing out of his mind. I mean, this guy, his size and his abilities, y'all.
He's not better than LeBron, though.
I don't think he's better than LeBron yet. I mean, we go by body of work here in the War Room. We're not about what you did, We're not on that Janet Jackson tip. We about body of work, so.
What have you done on me
done for me lately? Ooh, yeah. Anyway, that's before she was pulling her. Never mind. Now, Paul Millsap, on the other hand, I think it was Frank who mentioned it on the Court Vision we got coming up. Frank was talking about how no one really cares about Paul Millsap. You can say he's underrated, but no one still cares about Paul Millsap. So shout to him for the numbers he put up and what he's done this past week. So he's been playing well. Anyway, here's a big story.
I expect to hear his name called when they do the reserves. When they name the reserves for the All-Star game, I expect to hear his name called. He's having a pretty good season. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be good. I mean, he's one of those guys, man, under-the-radar guys that probably could help a good team, man. But, he'll never get his shine in this league unless he plays in certain places. Now, anyway, speaking of getting your shine for playing in certain places, Carmelo Anthony, he set a new Madison Square Garden record with 62 points. But the funny thing is, after scoring 62 points, he was still getting slandered, maybe even more than ever, because he had 0 assists. The criticism got worse. How did the criticism get worse after scoring 62? Well, people were saying that he didn't pass the ball enough. He had 0 assists. The Knicks won the game. Melo had 0 turnovers, yet people focused on
first
time
in 37 years a player has played a full game with zero turnovers. Too. Bring that up, Jim.
That's saying a lot, too, because
he played a full game with 0 turnovers.
Right, to score 62 points and the ball's in your hand a lot, and to not turn the ball over, I think that's a little more impressive than, bashing him for not having any having any assists. I think people go a little overboard with this because right now LeBron James is the standard bearer in the league. Because I think when a lot of people criticize Melo, they forget that, outside of LeBron James, especially at that particular position amongst superstars, besides LeBron James, there aren't a lot of superstar small forwards in the league, period. But there aren't a lot of superstar small forwards who are averaging assist numbers, like LeBron at 6.5 or above. So I think it's becoming an overrated notion to expect scorers to have all-around games, and that's just not what that's not Melo.
What you're doing...
He's not a dime dropper, and that's not his job. So why do we condemn people for not doing things that aren't a part of their game?
What you're doing right now is trying to apply logic to an illogical phenomenon of lemmings and sheeple who have already decided to jump off the cliff of hate where it comes to Melo. I mean, you know how it is. Lazy intellect allows itself to be dictated to by cliche. So the cliche logic is, we don't like Melo. Melo doesn't pass enough. He shoots too much.
Make his teammates better.
So he has to make his teammates better. Why do I have to make grown men who play a child's game and get millions of dollars for it better? Why do I have to take Raymond Felton to a treadmill and make that MF run and get in shape? Why do I have to stand Prigioni up and make him walk straight and act like he's not 70 years old? Why do I have to give the big badass yellow boy some offensive game? Why do I have to give Tyson Chandler some offensive game?
But
why do I have to put a brain in
you can't go through the whole team, dog. But even the way that people mean that cliche, I think it's still an overrated cliche because people like Melo, people like Kobe, people like Allen Iverson, these are guys who's been accused of not making their teammates better. Their teammates, if you want to, speak figuratively like that, their teammates are better just by their presence on the court. You get easier shots because everybody's paying attention to me.
You just stole my entire
if
point.
If you can't knock down an open shot, then you suck.
I was watching, and it's funny because now we break down everything and we look at advanced statistics and things of that nature. And I was looking at, they were talking about Russell Westbrook and how many open shots his teammates get when he plays versus when he doesn't play. And a lot of it has nothing at all to do with his assist totals, just how he pushes the pace, the amount of attention he gets. So when you have guys who play at that level, they make their teammates better, just by tying their shoes. Like, if Kobe ties his shoes and walks on the court, everybody's
just by
better.
Checking in.
It just is what it is. But here's the thing, though. In reading that Dr. J book, which you can get for free if you go to audibletrial.com/warroomsports, he talks about how in the NBA a lot of times, people have, their time. So we know it's LeBron's time. And because of that, a lot of people get overlooked. He was talking about, playing in the 80s, you had, Bernard King, Dominique Wilkins, even guys like Kiki Vandeweghe. Their small forward position, Terry Cummings, was so deep that you have a lot of guys who are extremely talented, but it's the way people look at it is if you don't win a championship, then you're a bust. Carmelo Anthony is literally one of the top 10 basketball players in the world.
In the universe. In the universe,
matter is
and prove that every time he plays in the Olympics.
And that's what I'm saying. He's one of the top 10 players in the entire universe. But at the end of the day, only one team wins a championship.
Honestly, at the position, there's only two people better: LeBron and Durant. Who's a better small forward than that dude? And
this is true. He's
he rendezvous as a power forward half the time these days.
But here's the thing. Is he's going to suffer from playing in a generation with a Durant and LeBron, and there's nothing he really could do about it. It just is what it is. If he came around, a couple years before, a couple years later, absolutely. There's so many greats.
Just like so many greats in the 90s who couldn't get a ring. So many greats in the 90s couldn't get a ring because the Chicago Bulls
Patrick Ewing being a bust.
Dominated.
These guys were amazing basketball players. Amazing basketball players.
What would they be saying about Hakeem had Jordan not retired? For 2 years.
Wow, that's a great. I was just thinking about that too.
If they couldn't get those rings while he was still there. You know what I'm saying? How will we look at him? Personally, me, I'd still look at him the same way. Like, he's one of the most dominant big men I've ever seen in my life.
But people
but
forget.
A lot of these people
there were guys like Gary Payton, who was an amazing basketball player. Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, guys who just didn't get rings because they played during Mike's reign. It was Mike's time. There are guys who played during Bill Russell's time.
Gary got one off the chase, but
the public.
He was the man.
He got one chip chasing, but But I'm just saying, even with that one championship, he's not revered.
Because
he's not revered the way he should be.
We don't like Kobe. We don't like Melo. Like a guy like Hakeem, like God bless him, and that's one of my favorites of all time. But his teammates that love him joke about him being a ball hog and never passing. But you don't hear about that with Hakeem Olajuwon. They said Olajuwon was a black hole. He wasn't passing salt to his left or right when eating. Like, he didn't pass. But we don't hear. He doesn't get the knock that a Melo does, and Melo is a pretty decent.
I mean, that's also because he played in the middle. I think position deals with that, but I think it's also this, B. Austin, because Carmelo is constantly compared to the best player in the world, and LeBron is like one of the most unselfish players.
I don't think every small forward is a point forward, and that's not Melo. So I don't understand where. Look, Kevin Durant averages 0.2, not 2, more assists for his career than Melo does. But you don't hear that about Kevin Durant. Why? Because why it's popular to bash Melo right now, it's very popular to be on the KD bandwagon. Unless, of course, you're a diehard LeBron fan and you feel like you can't like anybody but LeBron.
now there are other reasons for that, too.
It's just weird.
There are other reasons for that, too. If you look at Melo as his brand, I mean, Melo is come off as like the brash guy from the inner city of Baltimore. Melo carries himself a different way as well. So it's easy to bash him. KD has always been the humble, nice guy who decided to stay in the Midwest and play with OKC. When that picture came out of him smoking whatever it was he was smoking, because no one knows what it was he was smoking. Okay, it was a hookah. We're going to say it's a hookah. But everybody jumped to his defense. I mean, and there's something to be said for that. I mean, that's the reason you build the humble brand, because you get the benefit of the doubt. If that was Melo, there wouldn't have been a benefit of the doubt. Melo might have got suspended, because he just wouldn't get the same.
Because he's been in discussions with AI, though. He's created a little bit of that.
I mean, he put money on somebody's head on a DVD in the streets of Baltimore. Like, so I'm not saying he's innocent, but I'm saying, this is something that I tell kids when you talk to kids, like, listen, your brand will follow you, so you have to be aware of what people think about you. Melo don't get the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, that's a lot of the reason why he gets slandered the way he does, because he plays during the age of LeBron, and the way he carries himself. I mean, it is what it is. And also, he plays for the Knicks. Let's not forget that as well. So that puts a lot of pressure on him. And also how he even got to the Knicks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway,
a lot of brand decisions. So
and you're right.
Kevin
Durant actually had the opportunity to leave Oklahoma City, somewhere he wouldn't think anybody wanted to play, and so that those are points in his column.
So he's
for
built
people
his
out there
equity
who
is nice
care
right
too much
now.
about. Yeah, like I said,
his equity is nice right now.
Unless you a diehard LeBron fan, then nobody.
Melo is tattooed up. He carried himself a certain way. He was putting money on people's heads in Baltimore. First of all, he's from Baltimore, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway,
But Jim, you have a game where you played 38 and a half minutes. You shot 66% from the field, 55% from three-point land. You had 13 rebounds to go along with your 62 points. And the first thing people say is he had no assists. I'm done.
Yo, I hate people, I just hate people. Like,
exactly, man.
I just hate people. Because here's my thing, right? Like, all right, let's keep it a bean. Here's what bothers me
shout
about
out to Mensa,
sports.
man.
Yo. Because my thing is, it's nothing wrong with admitting you don't like somebody. But don't try to act as if you're being objective and you're talking sports and you really are serious about your conversation when you're slandering. If you just came out and be like, yo, I just don't like Melo, I would respect you more. Like, yo, you just don't like him. It is what it is. No. It's just that he don't make his teammates better.
Yeah, then you go with
I heard somebody on
intellectual
TV who doesn't like him
to mask the fact that it's personal and that you really don't like the guy, who you don't know, by the way, but based on his brand and what your perception of his brand is, you don't like him. Like, that kills. But we get into a lot of discourses and dialogues and conversations on social media where that's absolutely the case. People are tied up with their emotional feelings about a person's brand, and then that's what they use to argue against the person instead of objective analysis of the game or that person's abilities or whatever. So, yeah, I mean,
I wish people would actually watch sports, because an assist total isn't the only determinant of whether you pass the ball to somebody or not. Like, you can pass the ball 100 times in a game and get no assists. But the people who don't watch basketball wouldn't know that, because they're just looking at the box score and say, he didn't pass all night. What? What? All right.
Yo, I mean, this is true. People don't watch the game. I mean, because there's so many things like we talked about earlier. I told you I wish the NBA kept assists like hockey, because we would look at a lot of players different, man. We definitely would, man. So anyway,
another point just before we leave Melo, because you know we're going to get the fan mail that says, you know, you guys are so pro Melo. Listen, I knocked Melo for his defense. I knocked Melo for dumb shots. I knocked Melo for not rebounding when he's not getting enough shots. I knock Melo all the time, but, yo, he scored 62 points, man. Come on now.
Yo,
13 rebounds, no turnovers, and they won.
Yeah, how about that? I'm very critical
they don't win
of
a
Melo for his defense, because, yo, his defense or lack thereof, yo, Melo can't guard nobody. B. Austin, we were talking earlier about, like, you know, where should Melo go if he decides to leave. And, you know, one of the teams mentioned, we were talking about, like, Chicago as a destination. And I said, listen, I think Thibodeau is one of the greatest coaches in the game right now. But, yo, I don't even know if he can get Melo to play defense, because Melo doesn't guard anything.
Yo, at a certain point, that kind of becomes, you don't know how to play D. Like, I think he's one of those dudes that has gone so long being lazy on D, he can't defend anymore. Like Vince Carter.
Yo.
Vince can't play D. He can't. He doesn't know how.
I think it's one of them things where Melo, like, look, I don't get paid to play D. I get paid to get buckets. So this is what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, man, let's move on. Let's move on, though, man. Let's move on. We got a couple more stories to talk about before we get into our in-depth Super Bowl analysis. This story is about one of B. Austin's players that he was rooting for. Rockets GM Daryl Morey says that Royce White is the worst first-round pick in the history of the National Basketball Association. Thoughts, gentlemen?
I'm a Sixers fan. I beg to differ. I saw Kenny Payne play, but actually that is his point, because this guy doesn't play. He hasn't played.
Yeah.
So by that logic, how can you disagree with him? You know, they spent a pretty high pick on somebody who hasn't played.
He's one of those dudes where I'll go ahead and admit my bias in not liking him, because I went on my whole mental health thing and tried to defend him and saying the league needed to be more sensitive to mental health. But he's a noodle. He's a noodle because the effort, like, he never gave any effort to put himself in a position, to my knowledge, or I won't say he never gave any effort. He didn't give enough effort, in my estimation, to put himself in a position to do something that he claims he loves to do for a great paycheck, and to dispel the rumors and the accusations that he was a noodle. So after a while, you get to see him going on his Twitter rants and social media stuff. You hear, you know, his baby mama's coming at him.
He has a mental disorder, so we don't know exactly what he's dealing with from that standpoint. But I mean, I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day, I guess we'll never know.
He's spreading a lot of seed around. He got time to get it. He got time to shoot the club
man,
up.
Just because you have a mental health issue doesn't mean you don't enjoy fornication like the next man. I mean, you know,
you ain't got to get on a plane to shoot the club up.
That's what I'm saying. You can get in the car. If you like Love Canal, you're gonna go get you some Love Canal. That's just what it is. But at the end of the day, I get your point.
He wasn't trying to join the Mile High Club or nothing. He was just,
backseat of my Jeep. Let's swing an episode. Anyway,
But this is a real confident GM. This is a real confident GM because he's the one, Jimmy, who actually drafted him. But he's kind of smelling himself after getting Harden and Dwight Howard, so he can say this kind of stuff now. Yeah, I made the worst draft pick in history, but but look at me now.
He's been revered because he's also one of those guys who is a super analytical guy who's into like the whole Moneyball thing.
Numbers.
So yeah, he's definitely into that advanced statistics and things like that. So he's like one of those guys who everybody's looking at to like build their team because even the Sixers new GM came from, I think, somewhere in the same organization, right?
From Houston, yeah.
Yeah, so Daryl Morey was big on that, so, I mean, but what does that say about you that you picked Royce White? So it's a knock on him as well. So.
I say he can clown himself because of what he's doing now. It's one of those deals.
Uh-huh. But like we always say, man, one day it's going to be him on the chopping block. In sports, you are hired to be fired. Anyway,
and then when he is on the chopping block, Jimmy, they're going to bring that up and throw it in his face. Well, you admitted yourself that you made the worst draft pick.
You admitted yourself that you made the worst pick in the history of the game. Like, he said ever, though. Let's think about this, man. It's some bad players, man.
Yeah.
That's got drafted first. He said the worst ever.
Hasheem
Shamsheed was like number 2 pick.
Mm-hmm. You got Kwame Brown. Michael Jordan being the Michael Jordan of bad owners.
Matter of fact, we can pick anybody Mike drafted. Anybody Mike was responsible for is on this list.
My man drafted Bismarck Biyombo top 10.
What's the boy he drafted like in the top 10? The boy that looked like a porn star that played for Gonzaga, the white boy Hacha.
Adam Morrison.
He drafted Adam Morrison with like the 5th pick though. What's wrong with Mike?
Oh man, he's a 2-time NBA champion.
Yes, he is. Adam Morrison has more championship rings than Charles Barkley and Karl Malone combined. So in some of our fans' eyes, he'd be selling them. Both of them.
He will be selling them in the next 10 years.
But Bismarck Biyombo can't play basketball at all on any level.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, last night there was a big game. Well, we'll consider a big game. We know that it was just another game. LeBron, Raymond James, and Kevin Wayne Durant met up in Miami, and Kevin Durant is doing what Kevin Durant does. LeBron was going right back at him.
Monkey.
Yeah, some people said it looked like Rucker Park last night. I mean, at the end of the day, OKC got the win, but what did you guys think about them going back and forth with each other like that?
Yeah, I thought in another overhyped regular season matchup that never lives up to the billing, I enjoyed that few minutes where they were just, going shot for shot. You always want to see that between two superstars because, like we said, that's the matchup that they hyped up for weeks. So at least if the game is not going to, are y'all watching the Louisville game? My bad. But if the game's not going to live up to
what the hell was that?
If the game's not going to live up to the hype, at least the matchup could give you a few moments of superstardom, and they did go back and forth with each other. LeBron ended up with 34 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Kevin Durant had 33.7 rebounds, 5 assists, and the Thunder just erased a 16-point deficit, was up by 25 at one point. They just blew those guys out of the building, and the quote-unquote big three was in full effect, and this is Kevin Durant without Russell Westbrook and without that superstar center they have, Kendrick Perkins, Little Mouth, who everybody was acting like was a factor 5 years ago. But
he was a difference maker, man.
It was impressive. Like, you're never just going to outstat LeBron. I don't care what you're doing, but.
LeBron like wakes up with like half a triple double, like.
Yeah,
LeBron be putting up numbers when he don't even mean to. Like it's not even intentional, yo.
One of LeBron's worst games I've ever seen him play was one of the best stat lines I've ever seen.
when he had that triple-double, and he had a
That
terrible
playoff
game,
game
and
when
somehow
he quit.
still got a triple-double.
He had a
He quit
he had
the
a
playoff game and still had a
triple-double.
triple-double.
Yo, he quit.
And
Yeah, I know, right?
And he
He quit and already had a probably almost a quadruple. Yo, usually if you playing bad enough and your team's playing bad enough for you to quit, you probably got like 6 points. Yo, he had a triple-double.
Yo, my man quit in the game, had the worst game of his career. Yo, that's a great point.
And had like 29, 10, 11, 8, and 4.
Yo, he had numbers and stat categories you didn't even know they kept.
Yo, shout out to LeBron, man, because that is
Yo,
true.
shout out to
I never
Delonte
thought
West,
about that.
man. Shout out to Gloria, man.
He was the reason for that. Delonte stuff was on his mind. But yeah, another hyped up matchup that didn't live up to the billing, of course. Hopefully they meet up in the championship and we can get a classic series.
That's what will make all this great is if we can really get one of those rivalries. Because when you talk about, like, I guess the greatest rivalry in basketball would be Chamberlain, Russell, or, Magic Bird. They met in the finals, so they have historic, games where going at each other. So we need to get them back in the finals, having to one time.
But I need 7 games of nail-biters. Like, a lot of people overrate last year's final series because it went down to 7 and maybe the last 2 games went down to the wire. Remember, it was blowout after blowout until, game 6. So I think that series was overrated. I want to see these guys get in the series. I want to see the superstars in the series do their thing. And, I want every game to come. That's a perfect world, perfect sports world. I remember before we get into the Super Bowl talk, Jim, I wanted to mention, did you guys hear the rumors? Chad Ford from ESPN was reporting that Kyrie Irving has been secretly telling people, I guess, people can't keep a secret because it's being reported, that he wants out of Cleveland. So the grumblings have began. He'll probably make a statement and deny it, but that's the report out of Cleveland right now. So Dan Gilbert might be getting his Comic Sans ready again.
That was my next thing. I was about to say, here comes Dan Gilbert with the Times New Roman. He you know what I'm saying? He about to get behind the keyboard, and talk his ish, but they might just move that franchise to Seattle.
True.
Don't nobody want to play in Cleveland. Shout out to Joakim Noah, man. But what the hell is in Cleveland, man? That would be devastating to the franchise. It's crazy because we thought they were on their way. Once they hired Mike Brown, we knew what was going to happen. They didn't know. We already knew, though. You can go back and check our episodes. They hired Mike Brown. We was like, uh-oh, that's it. They ruined a good thing. And then they drafted a guy who just basically didn't do anything for him. That was a terrible draft choice. They had the first pick of the draft and blew it. Anyway, let's get ready to talk some bowl. Before we talk the bowl, though, let everybody know how to get in touch with us.
All right, y'all can, as usual, you can check out our website, warroomsports.com. To call in and speak with us about any of today's topics, dial the Digital Extreme Tech hotline at 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. And I know we got a few people holding right now. Jim, you want to take that call real quick? And then after we take this call, I'll read the Stitcher spot, and then we can get into the Super Bowl. I think that's the homie Rob out in Carson.
Let's see.
Grab that. I'm going to throw some ads up on the site real quick while you're doing that.
Is that you, Rob?
Hello? Yo, what's up, man?
50 Rob.
What up, dog?
What up, man?
Rob, first thing I got to ask you, Rob, because you are calling from California, and right now I'm in cold Philadelphia, man. So what's the weather like out there? I want to live vicariously through you, good brother.
Oh, well, it's a little bit better, man. It's gloomy, cloudy right now.
But what's the temperature, though, man? You can't be
I'm about to say, cloudy is better.
Like,
my phone said 1 degree this morning.
It was 1 degree around here, man. What's the temperature like out there, man?
60? In the 60s.
That's cool.
All right, man.
I can lay on the beach right now.
Come on, man. Anyway, Rob, what's going on, man? What's up? What you want to talk about, good brother?
First of all, thank you guys for talking about Carmelo, because it's like me and my dad talk about Carmelo. That's the only, other than when Durant came through the NBA, That's the only guy I ever seen dominate LeBron every time they play.
Oh, Melo.
I don't know if I
play.
want to say dominate, but
I wouldn't say every time they play, but I understand your point that he actually gives them a run for his money. I get your point. And, you know, at the end of the day, well, you can say what you want to say about Carmelo Anthony, but like we previously mentioned, he's one of the top 10 players in the world. You know, he just happens to play it at a time where you have a Durant and a LeBron who play the same position, and as of right now, they're better players than him, so he's going to be compared to them. But I guarantee you that most of these fans who criticize Carmelo, if they're not a fan of the Thunder or the Heat, they would die to have Carmelo on their team.
Or something. Well, I guarantee you he'll come to LA after this season.
That would be a great spot for him. Now, B. Austin and Dev, you guys are Sixers fans. Would you want Melo on your team?
come on, yo.
Of course. Of course.
Is that a Melo or Thaddeus Young question? Like, come on.
You about to hit me with the thing that people say? What's the thing people say on our Facebook page?
Is this even a real question?
Is this even a real question? No doubt, man. So that's my point. All the trash people talk about Melo, they would love to have him on their team, though. Rob, who you got in the Super Bowl, though, Rob? Before we get you out of here, what's your Super Bowl prediction, man?
Oh, come on. I'm Team Cali, dog. You already know what he's doing. I know a chick that, ironically, I know a chick that went out with Richard Sherman's brother, but, you know, dude, I'm going with the Seahawks. I met Pete Carroll personally. I'm going with the Seahawks.
Okay.
Seahawks in the building.
Okay, Seahawks.
So
they're
going.
gonna lose, but it is what it is.
Oh. I forgot he a Bronco. Hey, no, just
Bronco
remember.
gang all day long. But you know, so what's your prediction? Give us the score.
The Broncos got the best front seven, but y'all got a horrible secondary. You know that.
I mean, y'all got a horrible quarterback. So it equals out.
That quarterback.
It equals out. All right, I'm not gonna call him horrible. I shouldn't have said horrible. Let's just put it this way. He's a second-year quarterback. He may be good in the future, but he's a second-year quarterback. I don't know if he's ready.
A second year that brought him to a Super Bowl? Come on, man. McNabb was second-year quarterback.
What that mean?
He's doing.
You know this is a team sport. You know it's a team sport, though, right?
He's doing a lot with less.
He's doing a lot with less. He throws the ball 10 times a game, though.
Here we go.
He throws the ball 10 times a game. What's he doing a lot of? A lot of handing the ball off.
No, I ain't getting in.
Anyway, man, we will talk on the page during the bowl. We will talk after the bowl, and you will be congratulating my Denver Broncos on the Super Bowl champion win. The game will probably be over by halftime, though, so you can chime in early.
I'll be watching Pete Carroll, one of the best coaches in America. I will say this again, one of the best coaches in America. Hold up that trophy, and there will be for the second time.
You act like Seattle ain't in America.
I mean, it's funny. It's funny you say that because I think he's a hell of a coach. But I'm old enough to remember when they called him one of the worst coaches in America when he was the Patriots coach. And it's funny how he turned that all around. I don't know if you guys remember when he left the Patriots, but he was considered a fail.
A bust.
They always say that because he's that close with the players. Even out in L.A., they say he was a fool because he would go in the hood and he would talk to the kids and he would try to get them to come to USC to play football.
I mean, I guess so. He took his checkbook with him, too.
Oh, here we go. Come on, man.
Anyway, Rob, thanks for calling in, man. Don't forget, man, we're going to have a special show the day of the bowl. And also, check back with us on Facebook, man. You bring a lot to the page, man. Keep it up.
A lot? I bring a lot of hate.
I mean, it is. Hate is a new love, man. In the words of Marvin Gaye, man, only love can conquer hate, good brother.
Only love can conquer hate.
All right, champ. Take it easy, though.
All right, King.
All right, Rob. Peace, man. All right.
Icky.
That's
high THC
Rob out in Carson, California, holding it down for everybody. All right, So this Super Bowl talk is brought to you guys by Stitcher Smart Radio. You can now hear our show, The War Room, on Stitcher Smart Radio. Stitcher allows you to listen to your favorite shows, The War Room, directly from your computer, iPhone, Android phone, BlackBerry, Palm phone, tablets, iPads, whatever you got. The latest episode is always available for you. No syncing needed, no memory or storage wasted. Downloading is too easy. Click on the Stitcher logo on our website and listen, or you can download to your mobile phone directly from that page. Before you do, enter the promo code, The War Room, all one word, for a chance, to be entered into a contest to win a cash prize. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio. The Super Bowl is here. All right, so before we get into this in-depth analysis of the actual game, let's talk about a few of the things that have gone on in this week and a half leading up to the game. We all know about all the controversy surrounding the end of the NFC Championship game with Richard Sherman, while the NFL went ahead and fined him $7,875. I don't know who came up with that actual fine. He was fined
$7,875. Is that how much somebody needed or something like?
For taunting. And it wasn't what a lot of people may have thought. It's not about the whole rant in his post-game interview. It was about giving the choke signal to the 49ers sideline after Colin Kaepernick threw the interception. I would say that's consistent. You know, the whole choke and the neck slash thing has become, such a taboo thing in sports. Like, I don't look at it as being a big deal, but all the professional sports leagues do now, and you get fined for doing it. I guess it is what it is.
I want to know how they determine that number. Like, did somebody need money for like a certain purpose?
$75. Yeah, they couldn't just get my man for $8,000 or $75,000.
Is there like a is there like a checklist or something like, all right, well, it's $1,000 for this, $1,500 for this. Like, is it the way he did it, and there's like a certain number?
Now,
I don't know.
It depends on how many hands you put on your neck to do the choke sign. If you put one hand on your neck, that's $1,250. If you put the other hand on top of that hand to do a full choke, then that's another $1,250.
Got you.
Add on his facial expression, that was another $500.
To me, this is crazy. And the one thing I can say about
the sideline cost him another $1,000.
This entire NFL playoffs, like, this will be remembered regardless of what happens on Sunday as like the Richard Sherman playoffs, because this guy he has somehow become a household name. I mean, the guy is on like Good Morning America, for Christ's sake. Like, it's just crazy how this guy plays cornerback, and I've never seen a cornerback get this kind of publicity and notoriety since maybe Deion. And I mean, he's a good player. I mean, I'm not knocking his talent, but it's crazy how he's going to get paid, and he's going to get a lot of endorsements. Watch, this guy is a recognizable figure now, so it's just amazing to see a guy who we all knew could play the game of football. We talked about him on our videos last year, but now he's a star.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it happened. It happened within like a 2-week span. I mean, we've all heard, Richard Sherman and him running off at the mouth a little here and there throughout the season and the end of last season. But given all of that, he was still not a household name. If you watch football, you didn't have to be a purist to know who he was, but it's different now. After the whole thing in the NFC Championship game, everybody knows who this guy is now. and most of those people probably never seen him play.
My mom doesn't even watch football. She knows who Richard Sherman is. The thing is, he's the face of their team. I mean, part of it is because their quarterback is only a second-year quarterback, and but at the end of the day, he's the face of the Seattle Seahawks, playing cornerback. When have you seen that?
And they don't want Marshawn to be the face because he got gold teeth.
They don't want Marshawn to be the face of their franchise. First off, he don't want to talk at all. And, you gotta
I'm all about that action, boss.
I'm all about that action, boss. Greatest quote ever, yo. I'm all about that action, boss.
I mean, how you feeling? Smooth.
Hey, well, let's talk about that. If anybody out there doesn't know what we're talking about, that's Marshawn Lynch. at Media Day, which is a mandatory media session for Super Bowl participants. What did you guys think about that when you first saw, what Marshawn did?
Yo,
Pure comedy.
I thought that he's a perfect example of an athlete that's able to balance herbal remedies with high performance. And so he kept the glasses on, and from one consumer of herbal products allegedly to another allegedly, that brother consumes at a decent rate.
Yeah, well, he's not with talking to the media because he didn't talk to him all season. Got like a $50,000 fine for that. He's admitted on Media Day and in their media availability that happened earlier today, he admits, I'm just out here so I won't get fined. So he's basically trying to tell these people while they're in his face, stop asking me questions because I'm not out here for that. Dude he kept trying to get a question out of him today, and he kept cutting the dude off I'm not even out here for that, boss. I'm just out here so I won't get fined.
I ain't out here
you think
for
they
that,
won't
boss.
fine you for sitting there in the interview telling them that I'm out here so I won't get fined? They're going to find a way to fine you for that.
I'm all about that action, boss.
I'm just trying not to get fined, boss. That's the only reason I'm out here. I don't even get this whole thing.
My new thing now, man. Everybody boss
Yeah.
now. I'm about that action, boss.
I'm all about that action, boss.
I'm just
but
trying
here's the
not
thing,
to get
though,
fined,
right?
boss.
It is a joke. It is a
Yo,
joke, but the great
if
players
you
and a lot of
spend
successful
any
players
time
in
in
any
Southern
sport.
California, my man is so LA. The way he talks and acts is so he's so South Central with it.
But listen, though, what I'm saying is a lot of the great players and great athletes, they learn how to use the media as opposed to, getting this attitude, the Rasheed Wallace
Jimmy,
attitude.
he is using it. He got a Skittles endorsement.
I mean, no, but what I'm saying is you see guys who learn how to use it to their advantage to either, build their brand one way or the Phil Jackson approach where they use it to motivate their players and or other players how to affect them. Yo, I mean, he openly talks about it in his book, which you can get for free at audibletrial.com/warroomsports. But he talks about how, to use the media to your advantage. I mean, and so I would like to see more players do that, but this approach is kind of hilarious to me because, like B. Austin said, he is so South Central, and it's just comedy, man. But it also shows that the media day is out of control.
But did y'all
I'm waiting to see homie on the sideline in some Dickie attire and house shoes.
Did y'all peep the gold Beats by Dre that he had on his head while he was doing all this?
Yeah.
So that could possibly turn into a small endorsement deal because
y'all gotta chill. Y'all gotta chill with these Beats by Dre too, yo. I saw a couple people today, just today, a couple people riding in the car with their Beats on their head. I'm like,
they probably use them as
Bluetooth. They have literally taken headphones and branded them to the point where people want to be seen with the Beats. It's out of control.
Right, you're not even
out of
supposed
control
to be
right now.
Driving with headphones on your head, but I'm
crazy
thinking that could possibly turn into an endorsement for Marshawn because what he's doing in the media is kind of in line with this new campaign they have. They can just have him not saying anything like they do with, the whole Kevin Garnett commercial and the Colin Kaepernick. He'd be cool with that. Just walk past the media and the fans not saying anything because he doesn't like to talk to them. So he fits right in.
That is a crazy campaign. Hey, yo, Dev, it's funny though because I have Beats. I know you have Beats too, right? But yo, I just read an article talking about how the quality of how they make the Beats now because they're so popular that it takes $2 to make them Jones. They sell them for a tray, and because they mass produce them the way they do now, that the quality is not even as good as it was when they first came out. But anyway, that's a side note. That's a side note, but I see.
I get it because
people all do the athletes.
All the lemmings go out there and they're not even looking for anything particular as far as quality is concerned. They're just buying them because they're popular. So,
shout out to DeMarco Robinson, who's in our chat room right now.
Why spend
he
a
made
bunch
a point
of money
about the Beats. he made a point about the beats that I agree completely with. He said, "Yo, they're overhyped and the chords break easily." Because I had to get a second chord. Well, it came with two.
Came with two. Yeah.
My first chord broke. Yo, you still on your first chord?
I'm still on my first chord, but I think the joints they just if I wear them too long, they just hurt. Don't try and squeeze my damn head.
They definitely are overrated, yo. Anybody know any better headphones, man? Hit us up and let us know what it is, because I want some new Jones. But yo, and Jetty Mar just chimed in. I don't know how to pronounce this, so I don't want to sound crazy, but Sennheisers. But he's the second person to tell me that, so I got to look them up. And we are way off on a tangent because we're supposed to be talking about the bowl.
We're talking about headphones. We're supposed to be talking about the Super Bowl.
But the thing is, though, Beats, here's how we bring it back. Beats is one of the major sponsors of the Super Bowl, so you see all the athletes on Media Day with him, and we'll see what happens with Marshawn and that, that endorsement.
All right, but real quick before we move on, I just want to let everybody know out there, we are going to talk about the Super Bowl for the rest of the show. So if you want to call in and, give us your pick or anything else about the game or comment on anything we're talking about, make sure you call in. That number is 323-410-0012. All right. Now that we got that out of the way.
Yo.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, Dev. Real quick, though, Dev. Jetty Mar, I don't know. I just looked up what you told me to. They got some reasonable ones at $100, but they got one pair that costs $1,500. Well, $1,500. Yo,
it better sound like I'm in the studio. It better sound like I'm in the studio while the person is making the song that I'm listening to.
That joint got to come with a free month full of twirlies or something. It got to come with something that, $1,500.
Action, boss.
That action, boss. No, let's move on, though, gentlemen. Let's move on. Let me stop.
You're right.
Yo.
Somebody need to jump out them headphones like.
The royal penis is clean, Your Highness.
Yo, I'm about that action, boss.
All right, so look, man. There's a lot of talk about Peyton Manning and this game and his legacy. Do any of you gentlemen believe? I know Jimmy don't even give a damn because his team happens to be in the bowl, the Denver Broncos. So I'm pretty sure you don't give a damn either way. But do any of you gentlemen actually believe the hype that Peyton Manning's legacy is tied to this game? Is there some merit to that?
Here's the thing. It is tied to this game. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. But again, we've reached the point in society where people overvalue championships in a team game. And so, with that being said, some of us that are old enough to go back and remember the great Dan Marino, you can't tell me Dan Marino isn't one of the greatest quarterbacks you've ever seen. I mean, he took two dudes, Harry, Larry, and Mike, off the street and made them into the Marx Brothers. He was a great quarterback. And he doesn't have a Super Bowl. He doesn't have a ring. But in this day and age, rings is how you measure success, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but
here's the thing.
But when you say that, go ahead, John. Go ahead.
No, what I was going to say is I agree with B. Austin that it will matter, but I don't know if it should. I agree with that. Because
it shouldn't.
Because here's the thing. It's also funny because Jetty Mar says in our chat room that the media will make a big deal, win or lose, because he's Peyton Manning. And I agree with that. But the thing is, it's he is definitely one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play. And we kind of, but the thing is, at the quarterback position, more so than any other position, for some reason, championships always come up. When we're talking about the greatest linebackers or the greatest tight ends, no one even cares about championships. But at the quarterback, think about that, though. Any other position in football, we talk about the greatest running backs, and people say Barry or Emmett. No one even cares about championships. But when it comes to that quarterback position, Yo, it's like, how many championships he got? So it will matter. Do I think it should? No, because football, to me, is the consummate team sport. There have been teams with terrible quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl. I mean, you have a lot of teams that win Super Bowls with great quarterbacks, but at the end of the day, there's some average quarterbacks with Super Bowl championships. Let's not get it twisted. This is a complete team sport. There are 3 phases to the game. Coaches matter. Everything matters. There are so many things that have to go right to win a championship. So you can't hold it against one player who doesn't. Now,
right.
If he makes big mistakes in the game, then that'll go against his legacy. But if he plays well and they lose, I don't see how, you can hold it against him.
See, this is why I think, everybody trying to tie his legacy to this game is the silliest thing in the world. It's because we talk about Peyton Manning in a manner right now as if he's never won the Super Bowl. He's done everything he's done as far as the record book, but he also has won a Super Bowl. Now you guys are talking about, the age that we live in where championships are, the biggest determinant of anything. It's not even just championship anymore. It has to be multiple championships now. It's not good enough. You'll knock somebody for not winning a championship, but then when somebody is great and they only have one, there is a whole contingent of people that's going to make a case against that person because they, quote-unquote, only have one. Like Jimmy just said, do you know how many things have to go right for a team to win the championship?
Yo, and what's crazy about it is
who have done it more than one time, but that's a testament to their organization, not just one.
Peyton is being judged. Peyton is being judged differently than any other quarterback. And again, we talked about how Melo is judged because he played at a time when LeBron played. Well, Peyton is being judged because of Brady. Brady has 3. I mean, they cheated, but Brady still has 3. Because at the end of the day, Brett Favre got 1 championship and spent the rest of his career throwing the ball to the other team. But he had that 1 championship.
Had a pass.
So it was like he got his chip. You know what I mean? But Peyton,
so that's what I'm saying.
hand,
how come? Why is there a pass there though? Because Brett Favre definitely gets the championship pass. Peyton Manning
because
has won.
Peyton's biggest rival.
People still want to
speak. I don't agree with this, but we know Peyton is judged against Brady. Like if he came any other time, it wouldn't be the same.
It's about your rival in your era.
It's about his rival. Like you know what I'm saying. So it's like this is the Brady and Peyton era. So he's always going to be judged against him.
That means Dan Marino is a straight piece of sausage because his rival is Joe Montana. So Dan Marino must be a piece
is polar bear poop.
Yo, it's kind of crazy because it really disrespects the game because it de-emphasizes the importance of all the other units on a team, all the other players, and it boils it down to what your quarterback does and the wins he amasses and the championships that he wins. And don't get me wrong, we do understand that the quarterback position is probably the most important singular position, but it's a 53-man roster and 22 starters. So you can be the greatest quarterback in the world. If you don't have a good line, you're not winning.
It's funny that you said that because I was just talking to somebody on our Facebook page about oversimplifying a complex game. Cool. Oversimplifying a complex game because, right before the show, we put up that versus between Reggie White and Bruce Smith. One of the very first people who answered, I'm not saying any names, his answer was whichever one has the most sacks. So I told him, you're kind of doing both of these guys who are superstars a disservice because you're oversimplifying a very complex game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You have to actually watch football to know that, you can't just judge everything on numbers because if you want to talk about who has more sacks, it took Bruce Smith 3 years to get 2 more sacks in his career than Reggie White. And, that's not, I don't want to get off on a tangent, so that's not my point. My point is
but you're right
you
about
made a
that.
great
oversimplification.
Yeah, you made a great point saying how people like to oversimplify stuff. Yeah, it's not that.
The oversimplification of the game, and that's my biggest issue.
Stats,
my biggest issue with fans, although, we love our audience and we love our listeners, and couldn't be here without them. But my biggest issue with a lot of the folks that we talk to, particularly when it comes to football, NFL NFL football is they don't understand that this game at that level is far more akin to chess than it is to the game that they remember playing in Pop Warner or high school. Like, this is a chess match, so it's so far beyond just stats. Stats are a part of it, but there's so many different components that go into a successful team, that go into a successful player at a particular position. The guy with the best physical attributes or athleticism is usually never the best player at a particular position.
What I always try to convey to people is you use stats to back up your opinion. You don't use stats to create your opinion.
And I agree completely with that. I'll give an example of why watching the game matters, and it's from this year's playoffs. I was having an argument with someone about the game. Remember the Chiefs played the Colts in the first round of the playoffs, and the Colts won that game. It was a very close game. They came back or what have you. But we were talking about different plays of the game. There was a play in the middle of that game where the safety who graduated from you guys' alma mater, he chased down someone, and I think it was Dwayne Bowe. And this was like in the middle of the second quarter, chased him down, played where Bowe broke loose, chased him down, tackled him, stopped him, and I think Andy Reid and went for it on fourth down and ended up getting no points. Fact of the matter is, if he doesn't chase him down, he runs in for 6, and that entire game changes. That's just one play. Someone just looking at the box score doesn't see that play and doesn't understand that football, when that whole cliche of football is a game of inches, that is accurate. There are so many things that go into not only winning a championship, but winning a singular game that you can't just break anything down by looking at numbers. Someone just looking at numbers would think that Matthew Stafford is the greatest thing since sliced bread or XNXX.com. But the fact of the matter is, Matthew Stafford has issues
to the game inspection stuff that they ain't going to get.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's why, we have a call on the line who wants to talk about a little football. Let's get DeMarco on. DeMarco, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, you guys? I was listening to the discussion, and I really do understand what you're saying because I watch somebody like, because I'm a Raider fan, and I watch somebody like Terrell Pryor.
Sorry to hear that.
You get a lot of people who, no, I love it.
I mean, I'm a Broncos fan, so I don't really rock with the Raiders, but I get
All right, we're gonna have to get I hope y'all lose this. I hope y'all lose. So, but when I hear people speak about Terrell Pryor, that is the one thing I always have to tell people is that they don't understand that this dude not only came in and didn't get to get reps with his players, and didn't get to know and didn't get timing down with his own receivers. And you hear even some of my own Raider fans who talk about and say, no, he's just bad. He's just this, he's just that. And I'm like, no, you guys have to realize this is a chess game. It's not just who can throw the ball faster, who can run faster, who's the biggest, who's the fastest. It's not that anymore because it goes down to those inches. Now, going back to what I really want to talk about with Peyton Manning, I really think all this hype really just comes from how much we've the NFL has hyped up just the quarterback position. One, and two is really because and really I think it's because they see how much Peyton Manning has blown the stats out of the water and if he hasn't been consistent, he's been beyond better than consistent. And we see, and every time we think about somebody like Tom Brady, we apply him to Bill Belichick. We say, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. No one ever says Peyton Manning and this coach, Peyton Manning and that coach. I mean, once Tony Dungy retired, nobody said any other head coach.
That's
so
a great
quarterback.
That's a great.
You're right, because we actually hear people talk about Peyton Manning right now and act like Denver's offensive coaches don't even exist. Like Peyton is the coach.
I actually nominated. I nominated Peyton Manning to be, get a coach's award. I'm guilty.
Those are excellent points, DeMarco. Great points you make, because people act as if Peyton doesn't even need a coach, and part of the reason why they promote the quarterbacks that way is the marketing of the league, because the NBA took the approach years ago to market individual players. So now football has picked the position of quarterback and kind of like made. I mean, these are the guys that get the money, so they figured, listen, these are the guys we're going to promote as the face of the league. When you think about ads, like national ads, I mean, you think about Peyton Manning has Papa John's, you got the State Farm ad, and you don't really see any other players getting any sort of endorsements that
offensive linemen haven't been in commercials since they were doing isoturner gloves with Dan Marino. But DeMarco
and they only got it there
made
because of him.
a great point. Because if you think about it, Jimmy, the only players they even count win-loss records for are quarterbacks. You never hear them, like you said earlier. You don't hear a linebacker. You don't say, he got 160 wins in his career. They don't even say that about any other position.
But
like the quarterback is the only person who wins.
We're guilty of it too. When we're talking about players, you don't even bring up championships for other positions.
Yeah. We're definitely guilty of it. And DeMarco, within the context of this conversation with Peyton, one of the things that I always look at is Jim Irsay and Bill Polian. They get celebrated a lot for the decision to draft Peyton, hand the keys to Peyton, and see him, mature into what he is. And while I do think that Peyton Manning is my favorite quarterback probably of all time, I actually down or slam Polian and Irsay because I believe that it's irresponsible to build a franchise and an organization around one player the way that they did. Now, that's not to take anything away from Brady, because I think Brady is an all-time great. But Bill Belichick and the front office of New England never took that approach. They built a team, and they addressed the different units, special teams, defense. Yeah, so that if Brady goes down, sure, their chances of winning decrease exponentially, but they still can be competitive unit to unit. The Colts built a team on offense, defense, and special teams around one dude.
But here's the thing, B. Austin, that's a great point. That's a great point, and I thought about that. But that works twofold because I don't think you should build around one player that way. I agree with you with that. But if they didn't, would he be celebrated? Would he have still been able to put up these, what they call them, Star Wars numbers, if they didn't build around him and give him the leeway to play the game that way? So it's kind of a give and take, because here's something else I think about all the time when we talk about sports. We talk about championships,
hold
right?
on, Jim.
Real
quick.
Real quick.
DeMarco, give us your Super Bowl pick before we get you out of here. We want to hold you on here while we're
picking the Seahawks. I'm picking the Seahawks.
Of course you're gonna hate to say that, man. Yo, DeMarco, make sure you on our Facebook page, facebook.com War Room Sports. If you're on there, Twitter or whatever, we gotta talk on the Super Bowl, man. We gotta talk on this bowl, man.
I got
thanks for your call, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks, DeMarco.
All right, but the point I was getting ready to make, gentlemen, about that is, like, he's been able to put up the Star Wars numbers. And a lot of times what I find funny, when you think about sports, we always talk about he doesn't have a championship. But at the end of the day, when you put up them kind of numbers, you get paid. And I think a lot of times we don't think about that. Some people would rather be paid than to have a bunch of bowls. Like, would you rather have gotten Charles Barkley's paychecks, or would you rather gotten Adam Morrison's 2 rings? You know what I'm saying?
Well, Jimmy, Mike Vick got paid and he didn't put up no numbers.
Hey, look, so he's winning in a game of life. He's winning. So what I'm saying is Peyton Manning may only have 1 ring, but Peyton Manning has been compensated very well for the way he's played the numbers, those Star Wars numbers. So at the end of the day, man, I think about that. I know most people don't think about that when they look at sports. All they care about is he wants to win, and he want to get paid too. So
they look at it from a fan perspective.
Yeah, you got to think about it from like a quality of life perspective. That's why these dudes
dish you when they see you out in the street because they're rich and they think they're better than you. So.
So at the end of the day, like, because Polian built that team the way he did, he was able to put up those crazy numbers. But it turned out that they weren't able to win championships.
I think had they built a more balanced team, and to be honest,
they did win the championship.
Your squad is a more balanced team.
Yo, how about that? We going in now?
No, they did, and I think honestly that's a testament to Peyton. But I feel like had they had a more balanced team, such as the way Denver is built, he would have had more success. He would have had more success had they not had to solely depend so much on Peyton. But that's speculation. We don't know.
But at the same time, yeah, you're right, because when you get to the playoffs, deep in the playoffs, you're facing the best of the best, and they're going to devise a plan. I mean, we can't say that it would have automatically meant more success. I mean, these guys were in the mix deep every single year. So,
and that's what I'm
saying.
They
always started the season like 9-0, 10-0. So.
Yeah, as we already stated, so many things have to go right to win a championship, and specifically within football, when there's not a series, but there's one game for everything. One game you lose and you're out.
Seaweed.
Put it like this: the best team doesn't always win in football. A lot of times in the sports where you have a series, the best team wins. But in football, the best team doesn't always win. I mean, if the Patriots that lost to the Giants, the Patriots team that was 16-0 in the regular season, if they play that Giants team 10 times, the Giants might win twice. But the fact of the matter is, they won when it counted.
They won on those two on the 2 times that they were going to win. When it counted.
David Tyree didn't know where he was.
10 more, they're going to lose all 8
the bowl. He was in another planet when it happened, but he made the play when it counted. Mentally,
right, so
he was in Arizona somewhere.
Piggybacking off this whole thing, since we're talking about individual players, I know everybody out there. If you don't know, Jimmy's a Broncos fan. So, like I said, this is another thing. That's why I keep saying I know you don't really care much about this stuff that we're talking about. But if we had to pick a player in this game on either side, Seattle or Denver, that you're pulling for the most to win this championship. Briefly, because we don't have that much time left, and we got to actually
mine isn't even
get our predictions
in. Pot roast, baby.
What guy? Yeah, I'm about to say, what guy would you be pulling for the most to win a championship? If you weren't a fan of these teams.
I'm joking with Pot Roast, but probably Champ Bailey.
Yeah.
I'm joking with Pot Roast, but probably Champ, because Peyton, of course, but he already has one. But Champ has been, Champ ain't been nothing the last couple of years, but over his career, Champ has been one of the best players at his position. So it would be Champ Bailey for me.
Yeah, when I thought about that, Champ Bailey was the first name that came to mind. But as much as I think that it's silly that people do tie Peyton Manning's legacy to this game, I do want him to shut those people up. So,
that's true,
I know I said one, but it's definitely between those two guys. And they play on the same team, so I guess I can pull for both of them. But, yeah, Champ Bailey, man, I think he's put in a lot of work in this league. And I would love to see him be able to hoist that trophy. And I hope he has a good game.
We don't even have to ask B. Austin. B. Austin wants Peyton Manning to win the NBA Finals, too.
Yo, Peyton in 7, man. Peyton in 7.
I'm trying to see my man get the MLB trophy. Yo, I'm trying to see Peyton get another one.
Crown.
Yo, I'm trying to see Peyton get another one, but to echo Dev's sentiment, I mean, honestly, on the low, Champ has been one of my favorite players, and at that position, I was just so happy to see another. Yeah, yo, I was so happy for them to stop talking about Darryl Green and DC, man, when Champ got here. So I've always rooted for Champ. Definitely want to see him get one. And on the other side of the ball, since as an Eagles fan, I don't really root for other teams. I want Richard Sherman to realize some success. I'm a Richard Sherman fan. I'm a Beast Mode fan. And, he's going to get that shake. And Bobby Wagner. I like Bobby Wagner. I like his game.
Yo, Richard Sherman and Peyton Manning threw a couple barbs at each other because a few months ago, Richard Sherman said he's a great quarterback, but he tends to throw ducks. So Peyton Manning, they asked him about it today, and he was like, I can't deny that. I throw some ducks sometimes, but I've thrown a lot of ducks for a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns. So
in all fairness,
the war of words
in that article, Richard Sherman also said that Peyton is the best quarterback in the world, too.
He was very complimentary of him. Of course, they're trying to make especially with Peyton throwing a jab back, it gives them fuel to make something of it. But all right, real quick, because we only have 5 minutes left. Keys to victory real quick, and then right after we talk about the keys to victory to each team, we can give our predictions real quick. We're having a pregame show on Sunday, so don't hold it against me if my prediction changes between now and Sunday. But keys to the game, fellas. What does each team have to do briefly to win this game? He said the Broncos show up. And we talked about this on
honestly though, I'll be very brief. On the Broncos side, it's all about run defense. That's why I said Pot Roast, because Pot Roast, when he plays well, Terrence Knight, when he plays well, our run defense plays well, and if he's able to get out to a good start and get them in a couple 3-and-outs or short drives in the beginning to get our offense on the field, I think that's key. For me with Seattle, and not even trying to be smart, I think the only way Seattle has a chance to win this game is if Russell Wilson steps his game up. because
Mm-hmm.
he hasn't played well in the playoffs or even at the end of the season, and
you know
playing
what,
kind
Jimmy?
of scared. So
he's going to have to, because they're going to force him to, because they're going to try to load it up in the beginning against Marshawn Lynch, because everybody knows that Seattle's key to the game is to try to control the clock with the running game and kind of keep Denver's offense off the field. I don't know if they're going to be able to keep them off the field long enough to stop that machine from scoring points. It should be interesting to see, but Russell Wilson will definitely have to step his game up, because they will be keying on Marshawn Lynch
From the
Sunday.
Seattle side of the ball, offensively, they have to stay ahead of the chain, meaning putting themselves in third, no longer than third and fourth, like third and fourth, third and three, opportunities where they can run and pass to give their offense more options instead of having to depend on Russell Wilson's arm. On the defensive side of the ball, they've got to take away the first, second, and third read for Peyton Manning to give their front four an opportunity to get to Manning. Because as Jimmy always likes to say, look, if any quarterback you can lay your paws on is going to have a bad day if you can lay your paws on him. And we all know Peyton get the rock out of his hand.
You put
Denver
your paws on
is going to come down.
His neck might mess up on him or something.
Neck might break off. Denver has to come down, sell out to stop the run, fill the gaps, and force Russell Wilson to make throws and make not just throws, but intermediate to long throws. And I think what's going to happen is Jack Del Rio is going to place his faith in DRC, Adams, and Champ Bailey to come through in man coverage, bump and run coverage on those receivers.
Yo, and here's the thing, though.
Seattle,
we talk
Seattle
talk about Russell Wilson and what he has to do, but look who he's throwing to, and that's why I'm kind of confident in our secondary.
Curse and Baldwin ain't bad though. They're not bad.
Curse and Baldwin are great fourth and fifth options on a good team.
Yo, my man says if you fifth option, you ain't even on the team, really.
And we know,
team.
Like I told you guys the other day, I think the fact that the Legion of Boom is such a nasty secondary, and they like to get up in your face and just man up, bump and run. I think that could play against them because Wes Welker patrolling the middle, and Denver likes to. I like to call them picks. You guys like to call them rubs. When they're running, when Wes Welker's running east to west, and people are getting in people's way.
The best east and west route runner in the league, according to
He's the best east and west route runner in the league. So as he's going, sideline to sideline, and other receivers are stepping up to make that path a little easier for him, I think that's going to play a big role in the game. Like, I don't think the Broncos should come out and just try to test the Seahawks vertically right away. I think you loosen them up a little bit with the little short east and west routes, and then you go north and south on them. But
that's
I
beautiful.
think. Quick question, because we only got like 1 minute, and we got to give predictions too. Quick question to you guys: have we crowned Richard Sherman too early? And the reason I say that because Darrelle Revis Darrelle Revis has just come off of an ACL. This is his first season back. And I thought about one thing that's different between those guys. Darrelle Revis comes out and lines up against your best receiver on every single play of the game, no matter where they're lined up. Sherman doesn't do that. He sticks to his side for the most part. Like, have we crowned him too early?
Sherman got opposite.
Should we give
Sherman's whole secondary is dope.
And that's what I'm saying. Should we hold off on that? Should we see what Darrelle Revis is after a year removed from ACL, or should we just go ahead and live in the moment?
We should, by virtue of Sherman's production, and as Jimmy brought out, I don't know that it's not that Richard Sherman can come down and line up on both sides or play in the slot. Their slot man, which is really a testament to Earl. Earl Thomas actually lines up a lot of times on the slot, and to have a safety that's able to do that takes a lot of the responsibility away from Sherman to have to move around because of that. And the other guy in the league that really should be considered is Joe Hayden, for real. Like, Darrelle got to show me a lot.
Let's do this then. Let's take this to social media. Probably not today. Let's probably do it tomorrow morning when we know everybody's on. We're going to ask that question, and you go on there and drop your gems and drop your knowledge on there. As far as predictions
Drop
go,
a gem on 'em.
I got the Broncos by 12. B. Austin, what you got?
I got Peyton Manning and Champ Bailey by 12.
All right,
I got the Broncos by 20. I got the Broncos by 20.
He's a fan.
All right. Well, let's get on out of here.
Anyway, man, thanks for joining us in the War Room, good people. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, those on Facebook, Twitter, and all the callers who chimed in to holler at us. We appreciate all the support. For those callers we couldn't get to, listen to our Super Bowl special or tune in next week. As a matter of fact, do both. Tune in Super Bowl Sunday at 3 p.m. for an hour long. It's a quick hour, but we're going to do like a pregame tailgate. Call in, give us all your predictions, and, chop it up with us before the big game starts. And we're going to be live from our Super Bowl party in our cabin atop the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. We throw a huge party out there. If you're in the area, holler at us. We'll provide last-minute coverage of Super Bowl 48 and discuss any twists that game day may bring if somebody gets caught smoking verbal herbals. You don't want to miss that. So until then, enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you right back here next time. Be sure to catch our conversations on Facebook as well as Twitter. That's at War Room Sports on all platforms. WarRoomSportsTV.com for all of our video content. And until next time, everybody, as we always say, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance. We'll see you chumps on top.
Know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop dollars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, TJ, Got Back, B. Austin. I'm shot. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.
Kuwait is the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified.